say a few words.
She's hired, you know. We want to hire her and take her to the United States of America so she can also realize the American dream. And before I give my final remarks, I want to say a couple of things. Those girls, weren't they wonderful? And you know what? Their costumes were pretty expensive but very colorful. I couldn't afford it, but they probably can afford it. The principal can afford it. I couldn't afford it. I also want to single out that girl, 7-year-old girl, who played flute. Is she here somewhere? I want to take her to America. Is she ready? I really not realize that when I was 15 years old, as the principal said, I met the Professor Wolfgang Thurman from University of Colorado Boulder when I was a student at Leader Muslim University, which I cherish, nourish, and nurture that university. That's why I've given several $1 million to build Franklin Debbie Islam Management Complex. And also I came here to inaugurate Franklin Debbie, my wife is Debbie, Islam Auditorium at Mass Communications because I believe in freedom of press as well as the democracy. I also, my wife Debbie and I are very much into art and culture. Friends, while poetry reminds us our limitation, President Kennedy said in 1962 at the School of Amherst when Robert Frost was there at that time. And Robert Frost, one of the best poetry writer in this century, as a matter of fact, in the last century, United States of America. So let me get back to my remark. Thank you, Dr. Rizvi, for being here. And thank you for hosting us yesterday. And please stand up and be recognized for your talent. Him and Mr. Jaitley. Thank you, Mr. Jaitley, for talking to the principal to invite me over here. They were with me with the meeting with the governor of UP last night. I was touched by his grace. He's a wonderful person. He shared with me his book, and I'm going to treasure it for the rest of my life. So good, I guess it's good morning or good afternoon. Where are we? But it doesn't really matter. Distinguished guests, Principal Das, Mr. Jaitley, members of the faculty, the staff, friends, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you very much, the principal, for your warm welcome and for your kind introduction. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my deep gratitude to Mr. Jaitley and the Principal Das for inviting me to speak on this special occasion. Thank you, Mr. Jaitley, for being here. You always lighten my load and lift my spirit. And his son is one of my best friends, and he came to our house. I don't know if you guys ever seen my house. It's called Norton Manor, and you can do a Google search to find out about our house. It's one of the President Clinton been to the house many times, so there's several other President Obama, and he said that your house makes the White House looks like a public housing. And President Clinton should know, putting her in this speech as well. So thank you, Principal Das, for your leadership and your vision and your commitment in creating and educating the next generations of not only the Indians, but the people around the globe. We admire and appreciate all you do to make a difference. You are making a difference. You provide the example and set the standard. You are creating the hope and dream and the future for the next generations of the entrepreneurs, leaders, problem solvers, scientists, and engineers. Let's give her a big round of applause. And also thank you, my brother is here, Dr. Islam, who traveled all the way from Texas. So when I travel from United States to India, my whole family comes here. So I don't have one or two, 15 of them. So it's pretty expensive to travel. It was very nice to see Thiago. As I understand, his daughter goes to school. Is she here? Both daughters goes to school here. If they're here, I want to sort of recognize them and thank them for their father's leadership and the service to this nation. My memorable meeting with Mr. Yago was when I came with President Obama. I believe this was to celebrate India's Republic Day. I believe it was 3 or 4 years ago. I met him at Rashtrapati Bhavan, and he was the kindest and gentlest man I ever met. I do follow him on Twitter, and he has become a dear friend. So Mr. Yago has left, but I would say he's a great leader. I admire and appreciate his leadership. It is truly a pleasure to be in the timeless city of Lucknow. This city has been a beacon of learning. It has always been known as the multi-faith, multicultural city and a seat of power of Nawabs in the 18th and the 19th century. It is an honor for me to be here at La Martiniere College. I hope I pronounced it correctly, Girls College. Your college has the stellar reputation. Also, your college is one of the best, as we saw that not only in UP, but in all of India. So congratulations to the administration, the faculty, and the students on that accomplishment. And thank you, Madam Principal, for your leadership, which you do. It is even more special for me to be here because it is almost like coming home. I did not go to this wonderful, beautiful college, but I was born in Azamgarh, in this state of Uttar Pradesh. As I look at you, student, in this audience, I see me in you. I see the future of India. I see the future of the world. You are the hope of tomorrow. You are the promise and potential of not only the India, but the world. You have the capacity to change the landscape of India and the world. I have had a lifelong passion and commitment to improving girls' access. I see some of the boys. I don't mean to single out the girls, but you guys included a part of that. My passion and commitment to the education. It is very important for the girls to have access to and participation in a meaningful education. I want to make sure their voices are heard and make sure they're not ignored. If you empower girls through education, they're most likely to control their own destiny. Also, I look at you, it's almost like peering into the looking glass. Looking into the glass causes me to reflect upon the journey that I have made over the past 50 years. As I think about my journey, it causes me to think about your journey to come over the next 50 years. At the outset, let me say, the keys for the journey for me were education, empowerment, and entrepreneurship. I believe those will be the keys for you as well. I explained that in my discussions on remarks later on. Let me begin, however, by observing that I think that you, young female students, are living in a special century, the 21st century. I believe that this 21st century will be known as the century of the woman. In the past century, men have dominated almost all parts and facets of life, except for family life. In this century, this will no longer be the case, but there are still barriers to be broken for girls to gain success. Women have always played
limitless. Through education's empowerment and entrepreneurship, you'll be able to achieve your full potential. By doing so, you will make India and the world a better place. With that thought in mind, let me turn to my journey. My journey is divided into two parts: lessons from India and lessons from America. So let me start part one of my story, lessons from India. Growing up in India had enormous impact and influence on the person I am today. It is rare that I learned lessons from this country, my family, my home city Varanasi, and Aligarh Muslim University. All of those forces shaped and influenced me during my formative years. Let me tell you how. My country. I love India. I love this country because I was born here, and also because of its art, history, music, culture, and ritual. But most of all, I love India because it stands as an international beacon of democracy, diversity, and peacemaking. My family. I grew up in a middle-class family. My parents always taught me to treat the people in the way that you want to be treated, give dignity and respect to others, work hard, aim high, and do what you can to serve your community. My home city. Even though I was born and spent for the first 2 years of my life in Azamgarh, I call Varanasi my home city. Is anybody from Varanasi here? No, they're all from Lucknow, I tell you. No matter where I am, the memory of Varanasi lingers on my mind. It has never faded away from my memory. I have fond memory of this city. It is where my journey began. It's a beautiful city and tolerant city. It is where I learned about the richness of the different religion and respect to other religions. And this is why we must embrace the richness of the religious diversity, which is a reflection in this college as well. My university. Last but not the least, Aligarh Muslim University. My days at AMU had a profound effect in me. It was filled with charms, cheers, changes, and challenges, and memory remains endearing. AMU provided me with a basic building block to become a successful entrepreneur, to assume serious responsibilities, and more importantly, to become a passionate leader. Aligarh provided me with excellent education. More importantly, it infused in me the core values that have served me well throughout my adult life. And they include a love and passion for education, eternal optimism about your hopes and dreams, being collegial and candid towards all, keeping steadfast to your standard of excellence, living in peace and harmony by being tolerant and respectful towards the dignity of each person. And these values have always continued to be a guiding principles of my life. So now let me talk about part two of my journey, lessons from America. Let me tell you a little bit about my story in America. I share them not because I expect you to imitate my path, I adopt my perspective, but because I hope they will be useful as you chart your own path. I went to the United States from India to pursue the American dream. I was not quite sure how I would achieve that dream. I knew even then, however, that being a business owner would be part of it. I also knew that it meant being apart from my family and developing my own career track without any parental or professional guidance. This was a daunting challenge, but it was also an opportunity. That's the way I saw it, an opportunity to define myself in America, the land of opportunity. The process of defining myself in America had 5 stages: getting good education, taking a risk, becoming an entrepreneur, building a strong and talented management team, who shared my vision and values and broadening my horizon. As the principal said that I got my bachelor's and master's degree from University of Colorado in Boulder, then I worked with a two major information technology firms which gave me the skills and the real world grounding that I needed to be a business owner. Within 13 years, along with my management team, we took that from a workforce of 1 employee to more than 3,000 employees and approximately $300 million in revenue. The team of talented managers was central to everything. Success in business is a team sport. So when you ask me how I became successful, it was not me, but we who made it happen. Finally, I sold my company to Parole Systems Corporation in 2007, and that sale allowed me to establish a private foundation that supports the educational, culture, and artistic causes in the United States and India and around the world. Now, I'm concentrating on community and social engagement and philanthropic activities by giving back. In this regard, I'm reminded and guided by the words of President John F. Kennedy, who said, "To whom much is given, much is expected." In many ways, the process of giving and sharing is much more rewarding than any money that I have made in my life. So that's my journey in a nutshell. My journey was not a straight line. Indeed, there were numerous twists and turns. There were some dark and desperate days in my life. It was not always easy, and the final destination was not certain. During the early years, we had several issues that needed to be dealt with. Will we win the contract? Will I get the bank loan? Will I be able to make a payroll? There were some 24-hour days and many sleepless nights. What enabled me to prevail in my journey was a belief in myself and those around me, and the opportunity presented by the American dream. So success has taught me to move forward, but more importantly, failure taught me to never go backward. Thus, the failure is the first step to success. Let me remind you that my story can only happen in America. Just like the story of President Obama, his father came from the hills of Kenya to the doors of White House can only happen in America. So my story can only happen in America. I'm the beneficiary of America's kindness and generosity. It is America's inclusiveness and openness that provided me the leverage of opportunity to succeed. These are the strengths and the values and the qualities of America that all of us can proudly and truly embrace. So this was my two parts of my journey. Now let me talk to you, girls and boys, your journey and the themes of education, empowerment, and entrepreneurship. Last year, as the principal said, my wife Debbie and I dedicated a new management complex known as Frank and Debbie Islam Management Complex at Aligarh Muslim University that we funded through our foundation. I said during the inauguration, while the bricks and mortars are important, more significant is who will be in it, who will go on in this setting. It will be a place for sharing of information and imparting and development of knowledge. It will be a space where faculty and students can collaborate on innovative projects. It will be an educational empowerment zone. The same holds true for all of you students here at La Martiniere College. You are in an empowerment zone in your classrooms and conversation with the faculty, the staff, and your fellow students. You are gaining the knowledge, the skills and abilities to make a difference in your life and the lives of others. You will become ambassadors and role models for all of us, not only in India, but around the world. In the long run, this is what matters. I know you girls and boys realize that. I know you understand that education is not just about book learning or studying for the test. Education is the gift that keeps on giving. It's an opportunity creator and bridge to the future. It's a powerful equalizer to all to lift themselves out of poverty. Education helps create higher aspirations, and higher aspirations propel individuals and move the nation forward. As President Obama said, education will be the currency of the 21st century. Education frees the human mind from the shackles of ignorance. Education prepares the girls and boys to become a change agent. Too many families are trapped in poverty because of lack of education. With her own education, the girl who becomes a woman and a mother can educate and equip her children to escape that trap. Education is about preparing for life. I know that you recognize that your graduation from this marvelous and wonderful institution will not be the finish line, but it will be the starting line for the next part of your journey. Given that perspective, what advice would I give to all of you in this audience? My advice is stay true to you, be a lifelong learner, and never ever give in. Stay true to you. This has always been one of my personal mantra. Stephen Jobs, who founded Apple Computer, he said something similar when he gave a commencement address at Stanford University. He said, your time is limited, so do not waste it living someone else's life. Be a lifelong learner. Study hard, but remember, the life lessons are taught inside and outside the classroom, and they are never ending. So commit to learning yourself one things every day. Use the new things you learn to continue to reinvent yourself. Never give in. Winston Churchill said to the schoolboys of Harrow schools in 1941, near the beginning of World War II, never give in, never give in, never, never, never give in. Except to the conviction and conviction of honor and the good sense. That was a good advice 80 years ago, and it is a good advice today. So that's my advice. Now let me make the following request to go along with that advice. Do not think anything is impossible. No hope should be high enough for you to achieve. No dream should be large enough for you to achieve. Make it your journey. Do well, but do good. If you had asked me more than 40 years ago, coming from a middle-class family from India, that I would be able to achieve and accomplish what I have, I probably would have said no. I was not certain where I would end up when I went from India to the United States of America. But I knew absolutely that working hard, aiming high, and getting the right education was the key to my success. I'm confident the same will be true for you, no matter where your family is currently on the economic ladder. That is why I ask you, do not think anything is impossible. Even though I have shared information about my journey with you, you'll succeed by making it your own journey. My story is a testimony to the fact that anything is possible if you make it your journey. Do not be copycat. Write your own story. Create your own path. Create a set of values that are unique to your area of endeavor. Do well, but do good. In making your journey, I encourage you to succeed, but do not forget those who have been less successful. Extend your hand, your home, your heart, and your health, who are less fortunate, who are socially and economically disadvantaged, who are voiceless, who are vulnerable, and reach out and empower them with education and inclusive economic mobility. Help them through their darkest moment of their lives. Please remember, when they succeed, all of us succeed, India succeeds, and the world succeeds. In closing, let me make one more request, that is to be an entrepreneur. Let me clarify what I meant by requesting that. I'm not asking you to be a business person. What I'm asking you to do is to search and to find new and better ways of doing things. There are entrepreneurs in every field, from the science and technology, to teaching, to medicine, to politics, to the arts, to the social work, and to parenting. The list could go on and on. What I'm asking you to do to find your own field, your vocation of choice, and to innovate within it. That might seem a little scary or far-fetched, but remember, as I said at the outset of my remarks, the 21st century will be the century of women. Receiving here at Martiniere College, if you set your mind to it and persevere, you'll be one of those women who will make it so. By doing so, you'll be standing on the shoulders of the Indian woman giants from the 20th century. Women such as Indira Gandhi, the first and only woman to be the Prime Minister of India, Anand Gopal Joshi, the first female doctor in India and the first woman to earn a medical college medical degree in the United States, and Justice Anna Chandy, the first female judge in India. You'll also be joining current leaders such as Ekta Kapoor of television fame, Indra Nooyi, former chairwoman of Pepsi Cola Company, and Kiran Mahmooda Shah, founder and chairman and managing director of one of India's leading pharmaceutical companies. Some refer to these women, who are among the first to accomplish something as shattering the glass ceiling. I do not see those women as shattering or breaking anything. I see them as the builders, I see them as a trailblazer, I see them as the pathfinders. So to you, young student, I say, be a builder, be a trailblazer, be a pathfinder, be an entrepreneur. India and the world need you and all you can do to make a difference. As Prime Minister Indira Gandhi said once, there are two kinds of people: those who do the work, those who take the credit. Try to be in the first group. There is less competition there. That's probably true. I know that you young women will be part of the first group because if you're going to school at Martiniere College, where the motto is, let me say the French, I probably would not do a good job, le bon et Constantinia. I may not have said it right, but it means in English, labor and constancy. Am I correct? Because of the labor and constancy, I'm confident you will do the work that is required in your journey for education, empowerment, and entrepreneurship. The credit will follow. As I stated in my opening comments, you are the future. You students can be the change agent. Because of the education you're receiving, you will have the power as a citizen of India and as a global citizen of the world to help make India a kinder, gentler, just, tolerant, and inclusive India. If you do so, you can help shape a better future for India and the world. You need to stand firmly by rejecting the voices that seek to divide us. You should never stop struggling. You need to keep fighting the good fight, as my friend Hillary Clinton, who should have been the President of the United States, to Russia about our election. I'm saying that in the foreign soil, I shouldn't be saying that. So, as Hillary Clinton said, and reminded us, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can.